will have revenge. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Welcome, followers of the Dark Side and Light. I'm your host, John, the real JP3, and I'm joined as always by my good friend and fellow co-host, who is a master of the dark side, expert on the occult, and obtainer of rare antiquities and holograms. Please welcome Dark Lord of the Sith, David.
John, it's a sad day. It's a sad day, John.
Bad Dan.
Episode 127, where we review the final entry in the first season of The Mandalorian, Disney Plus TV show. Sad day, because it's over. We gotta wait. I don't even know how long we gotta wait, John, but we gotta wait for season 2.
All right, I'm gonna give my caveat: spoilers. If you haven't seen it, don't listen to it. This episode is airing on Monday. We're recording on Friday, the day the show
it'll
came
probably
out.
not even air on Monday. It'll probably air before. We gotta get these Mandalorian goodness out here, John. Send it out in the world.
Anyway,
Send it out in the world.
Spoilers beware. I don't know. To me, overall, I liked it. It may have been my most favorite episode. I don't. It didn't leave us on a huge cliffhanger. It left us with questions. But in my opinion, I'm okay until we get season 2, because I know it's coming. I'm okay till we get season 2. But if it would have left us like it did last week, where we didn't know what was going to happen to Baby Yoda, Baby Yuck, as we call him, it'd been bad. It'd been bad.
So, before we get into that, John, we got to welcome the people that are returning back and listening. So those guys, gals, Gris, Chiss, whoever, you're returning, appreciate it. Hopefully somebody new is jumping on and listening to our Star Wars shenanigans and conversation. Rise of Skywalker. Have you seen it again since the last time we talked?
I have not seen it again. There's just so much information just coming out about the Rise of Skywalker, though. Like, I wrote down some tidbits of notes that we can talk about how it's doing at the box office.
Sure. I ended up seeing it again on Christmas Day. It was the first time I've ever seen a Star Wars movie in theaters on Christmas. It was pretty good. I dug it.
How many people? Were there a lot of people in the movie theater?
It was a packed showing, and everyone in this showing, this screening, had emotion. And what I mean by that is the viewings that we've seen together. Not once did I hear a gasp, a laugh. Everyone was just not stoic, but everybody was just in the moment, in the movie, paying attention. Not really talking, no murmuring. With all the big reveals and everything, there was just silence, like pins could drop in there. In this showing, on Christmas Day, I heard laughter. I heard, oh my God. Like when the Palpatine reveal dropped, it was awesome. Being able to hear all the reactions of fellow fans next to me. Mind you, it sounded like it was their first viewing for all of them. But it was different. It was a welcome sight, I guess you could say.
So it's funny. So did you go see it by yourself, or did you go see it with somebody else?
No, I took my mothership. My mom wanted to see it again. We'd taken her earlier, and she was like, "Hey, I want to see it again." I was like, "Okay, woman, let's go. Put your shoes on. Let's do this." So we rolled out there and took the mothership, Alamo Draft House. Dude, I got to stop going to Alamo Draft House. Those loaded fries. I end up getting them every time I go. I'm going to turn into a loaded fry.
I was just going to say you're turning into a loaded fry.
It's not a bad thing, but either way, if you haven't had them, Alamo Draft House, loaded french fries, amazing. Anyways, continue.
By the way, Alamo Draft House is not giving us any amount of money to promote them or their loaded fries.
But we will gladly accept some loaded fried cabbage.
So anyway, it's funny that you mentioned that, David, that you went and saw it on Christmas Day, because you contributed to the $32 million
What?
in sales for Christmas Day alone for The Rise of Skywalker, which is the second highest movie. Rise of Skywalker is the second highest Christmas Day movie of all time.
That's pretty beast. What was the first?
The Force Awakens at 49.3 million.
Yeah, it was.
The Rise of Skywalker was 32 million, but it took out The Last Jedi, which only came in at 27.4 million on Christmas Day.
Okay.
So far, The Rise of Skywalker has performed $259 million domestically for the first 6 days of being open, and 516 globally. So it is doing better. It is on track. All the analysts are saying that it is on track to surpass the $1 billion mark, which I think would mark Disney's 7th movie this year to surpass the $1 billion mark at the box office. Holy crap, Disney. So I got to ask this. Did you see, and I didn't share it with you because it was super long and I knew you wouldn't read it. But there was somebody who was like, it was like a tweeting calendar thing for like Disney.
I glimpsed it, but I didn't get a chance to take a look at it.
Yeah. So anyway, it basically just says like the previous years where Disney had acquired like Fox, Lucasfilms, Marvel, Hulu, and everything else. Then it starts going down to like in like 2044, and these aren't accurate dates of what's on there, but I have to find it. I can find it. Disney acquires the United States of America, becomes the Walt Disney United States of America or States of America, and then it's like Walt Disney Disney heads for global domination. Disney buys out Warner Brothers in a hand-to-hand combat fight, and I'm like, holy crap! But it's like very intense, and it's like, at some point, and I think it's the SEC who manages this, I'm assuming, but there is a governing body who's like, yeah, you can't become like the largest empire. Like that's the whole point of commerce.
Yeah, that was the whole reason for the Galactic, Republic, but then that turned into the Galactic Empire.
Yeah, so
just saying.
It's funny to see that people are like, Disney is heading down this path. They keep talking about it. Disney's in a great situation as of right now for their theme parks, their cruise lines, their movie franchises, everything they have. They're doing really well. So I thought it was interesting that it took out. It is now the second number one movie seen on Christmas Day.
I dig it.
Of all time, like not just like this year or 2 years or the last 5 years. That there's more than one Christmas Day in a year, but anyway. It's like of all time. It's like, what the heck?
Well, you also got to think to yourself, how many big blockbusters were released in December? Traditionally, big blockbusters are released in the summertime, so you don't have that many automatically in that pool.
That is true. And maybe it's because we hadn't, like, a lot of people were expecting Frozen 2 to do extremely well at the box office, and I didn't do any research on Frozen 2, which is obviously another Disney property, and it took them 10 years to release Frozen 2. But overall, I don't think the clamoring and the want from the kids nowadays, because it's like these kids they're probably young teenagers now, and Frozen is not that big of a deal to them. So it's very different. So I don't think it performed as well as Disney thought. It performed extremely well, but I think they were expecting it to do way better.
Back to Star Wars. Let's not talk about Frozen, because then you're gonna like school me on Frozen and teach me all these like little kid songs, because I know you know the movie by heart.
Let it go, let it go.
See, but no, it was awesome. Like I said, just watching again in theaters. I think this is my favorite out of the new saga.
Yes,
I think it is. I'm sitting there and I'm watching it for the I don't know how many time, and I'm like, I think this is it. I think this is my fave for all the reasons that we talked about on Spoiler Episode 1, Spoiler Episode 2, and a bunch more that we didn't even get to talk about. I think we need to have a Spoiler Session 3 come Monday.
My life is complete. I'm signing off for the rest of the week. Dave says it's his number one movie of the new franchise. I knew it would not surpass Empire Strikes Back as his number one movie, but the fact that he agrees with me on one thing in this gigantic world of ours, just makes me feel good. I feel like I can sleep happily the rest of the week now. I'll take this for a week, and then that's all I've.
Yeah, so I think we need to have a spoiler episode 3 and just continue to gush about the film because it really brought justice to the Skywalker franchise.
Yeah, and so as I was like writing down like what we could talk about today, I knew we would talk a little bit about the Rise of Skywalker, and then I was like, there's a whole bunch of like articles that have come out about it, as I mentioned. It's like if we go down the Rise of Skywalker path on this episode, like we're just going to talk about the
we're not
Rise of
going to talk about
Skywalker.
the Mandalorian at all.
And so Dave is committed that we will have a spoiler episode 3. We will do our best to get that to you guys.
How about that be the Monday episode? Do you have time to go watch it again before then?
The Rise of Skywalker? No, I don't. I don't have time to record before Monday.
Damn it, Johnny.
The only day that I can record is Monday.
Are you working Monday? Can you play hooky?
I am working Monday.
Damn it.
I am working Monday, but I'm taking off Tuesday and Wednesday, but I will be at my parents' house on Tuesday. So that's Monday's literally the day.
Okay, fine. We're just going to gush about the movie, even though you haven't seen it.
I don't need to see it again.
Another time.
No, I don't need to see it again. I am good. I am golden.
Get some gushing points ready because I got a stack.
All right.
Can I just say one thing? Rise Skywalker?
No.
Please,
no.
Please.
No.
One thing. Billy D. Williams is the frickin' man. Like that. He looks so frickin' spry. He's got so much energy in that movie. Oh my god, he captured the magic and brought Lando back 100%. It's glorious seeing him on screen.
So how do you think? So it's probably a sad but great thing for him because it's sad because he says after this he's done. Like he's not doing anything else. We may see him at some Comic-Cons and things like that, but I doubt it.
No, he'll be at Star Wars Celebration.
And he says, "But I'm done. This is my last movie. This is it." And to think of something that and we've talked about Billy D. Williams, and they wrote an article, I think it was a Hollywood Reporter or something, wrote an article just about him, about what he brought to the movie community. And he brought something that no one else did. And so for him, it was huge. And for him to play Lando in Empire Strikes Back, and then reprise the role in the final film of the saga, like, that's the highest note, in my opinion,
some 30 years later.
Yeah. Ridiculous. It's the highest note in the world that I think you could go out on. And he's content and he's fine. And so it was probably sad that it was over, but he was probably like, damn, if this is how I'm going to end it all, this is the best way to do it. Like, he is the man. The things that he did, the way that he acts, what he brings to the table is just outstanding.
He's just a beast. And, the energy he brings to that film, even though he doesn't have a lot of screen time, when he's in the Falcon, he's laughing, cackling away. It's just awesome. It gives you the warm and fuzzies. The first time he sees Chewie, like the level of excitement on Chewie's face, and Chewie kind of moves people around to get to him when they're on Pisana. Like I dug it, man. Like it was a welcome sight to see. It really was. Mm-hmm. It really was.
JJ realized everything that he did in The Force Awakens, what happened in The Last Jedi, things that he felt as a kid growing up and watching, like Chewie not getting the medal, that was something he was going to fix.
Which, by the way, when he gets the medal at the very end, he shows it at the C-3PO. Like when everybody's kind of just in their own little groups and just cheering and being happy because they won, they beat the Empire or the Final Order. You see Chewie there with R2 and C-3PO, and Chewie's hanging the medal over 3PO's head.
Oh, yes, I remember now.
And he's like, hey, look, check it out, kind of thing.
The only thing, and I'm not trying to make this a sad note, the only thing is that Peter Mayhew didn't actually get the medal. Because he couldn't be there. Rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. You brought that lovable furry animal to life. And it honestly should have been you receiving that medal, but at the end of the day, I thought that it's not Jonah.
It's Jonas.
Jonas. Oh, thank you. Jonas did an extremely good job of portraying Chewie as we know Chewie, and shout out to him. But yeah, I just thought I had to throw that in there. Dave, you got that? Look at your one point that you brought up. Now it's taking us down this rabbit hole.
You're welcome.
We still have to talk
welcome.
about the Mandalorian.
All right, let's
so,
talk about the Mandalorian. We're not going to.
Mandalorian.
Let's not talk about the whole season.
No, just episode 8.
Just episode 8. We will have an episode talking about the whole season. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. From very beginning to end, all the arcs, all the conversation. But let's just keep this as a self-contained episode of episode 8.
Anyway, episode 8 aired today, December 27th, 2019, as The Redemption. So, when I first saw this, I knew where we were left last time in episode 7. And,
with Quill's smoking body.
And he's dead.
Spoiler.
IG-11 confirmed. We said spoilers at the beginning. IG-11 has confirmed that Quill was terminated.
Well,
I was like, damn,
not
dude.
only that, but the Mando ended up doing a little grave for him.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I'm so sad. But anyway, so I think overall, before we get going, Dave, we got to do our rating.
Ooh.
We got to see how season one, ranks out. So I've already ranked mine.
Okay, so what? How many? Where do you rank this? 1 through 10.
I put it as a. You know what? I think I'm gonna change it already.
Oh hell! You're so much like George Lucas, you don't even realize.
I'm gonna go with a 10.
You're going with a 10. You're going with a 10. I will agree with your 10.
What?
I will
2 times in one day.
I will agree with your 10.
2 times in one day.
Go change your shorts, my man. I agree. We got a 10.
Guys, I can't do this episode anymore. This is too much for me.
Okay. Why is it a 10? And
hold on, I was figuring out the average.
Okay, do your thing. I think the reason I'm putting it as a 10, not only did we get action, and
we got a lot of action.
Not only did we continue getting character development out of the Mandalorian, but he showed a lot of heart, the Mandalorian, in moments in the episode that we're gonna get to. It had a lot of exposition that explained so much. Like Moff Gideon just dropping lines about, Mandalore, how that went down, how that siege happened, how, he was an ISB agent and he knows Cara Dune. He knows Grief Karga. He knows the Mandalorian. Like this guy's knowledge is robust, and it added to the layers of the story that we'd already been hearing, but it flushed it out in so much more with a few lines of exposition. I thought that was fantastic.
I thought it was also great that we also, even though we met him last episode, we got even some back history on Moff Gideon. About that he was, like you said, he was the ISB agent, but then also Cara was like, wasn't he killed due to war crimes that were illegal or something like that? And they were like, the Mandalorian's like, no, he wasn't, because I remember him, because there would only be one person that would have known that I was know my name and everything else. And he said, because I haven't been called by that name in years.
So what was the Mandalorian's name? This is the first time they've actually said it on screen.
It was something Jen.
Oh,
we've talked about it before, because Pedro Pascal has mentioned it. But overall, I thought as David looks that up, I agree with the character development. I agree with everything you said. I don't know, you just start to see the relationship between all the characters start building a little bit better, but it still leaves you with that intrigue and that want to know more about this whole Moff Gideon and his gang. And so for me, that was just like, this episode, in my opinion, was action-packed. Probably one of the most action-packed episodes, in my opinion, that we have seen from The Mandalorian so far. And I don't want to say too much, because then Dave's going to be getting mad at me. Like, I wasn't ready to talk about that.
So, first of all, the Mandalorian's real name is Din Djarin.
Din Djarin.
It was action-packed, but it wasn't. The action was spread. It wasn't all in just one little part of the episode. It wasn't always at the end. It wasn't in the beginning. It was spread throughout, which I really loved. There was episodes of great comedy. It was sprinkled in there by Carl Weathers. He did fantastic in this episode, as well as he's done in every episode. But it's my favorite episode. Favorite episode, hands down. John, you want to kick it off and get us going?
Hold on, I'm trying to find something. Here it is.
In this episode, okay, go ahead.
So this episode was directed by Taika Waititi.
Why can't you ever say his name?
What is it?
Taika. We have
Same
this
thing.
We have this
Same
discussion every time. Taika.
Same thing. Taika Waititi. Whatever. First
Poor guy.
episode in season 1 that he directed.
The only
episode. The only one.
Because everybody else got two rounds of directing.
Except for Bryce Dallas Howard and except for Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, you're right.
Taika Waititi. Got it. There you go. Who also voices IG-11 in the series.
Who was very prominent in this episode.
Was very prominent. So overall, I was very impressed because he did Thor Ragnarok, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Which was pretty awesome and action-packed as well. So I just wanted to say, because you always bring up who directed this one? And I was like, let me make sure he didn't direct any other ones, but I knew he didn't.
Yeah.
So
Taika did this one, knocked it out of the park. I agree.
So anyway, we pick up exactly where we left off in episode 7. Two stormtroopers are headed back to scout troopers are headed back to, in my opinion, they're all troopers.
Well, yeah, they're all troopers, but they're different. Because there's a flame trooper, there's
a prowler trooper.
Yeah, there's a mud trooper.
Anyway, scout troopers heading back to the city with the child in their possession in a bag on their speeder bikes.
How awesome was their dialogue?
It was great.
How awesome was that opening of the episode? Just their back and forth banter. I loved it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, let's get to the action. And then they start up, was it all right? Let me see it. You got to see it. Why can't I see it?
I got to display it for a split second when I turned around and grabbed it off the ground and I put it in my bag. I didn't really get to see it. You'll see it when we get to Moff Gideon.
And then it was great back and forth banter.
Well, and then I felt like he was like, when's the last thing that thing moved? It's been longer than a minute. And I was like, actually, it hasn't been. And then the radio, he was like, are we clear to come in now? No update. All right, just let us know. We'll be here.
Well, he's all no, there's no update. He's all, it's going to be a while. Moff Gideon killed somebody that interrupted him. Great.
Yeah. It was very, very back and forth.
It was very tongue-in-cheek. I loved it.
And very tongue-in-cheek, as Dave likes to use that word frequently, or that phrase frequently. And then we get
hold on. He's like, but that second scout trooper was just so desperate to see the little dude. So desperate, seems like, well, maybe it needs water. Should we give it some water? You hit it pretty hard. He was just finding every little excuse to open the bag and look at the kid.
And then he opened the bag and the kid bit him.
Which was awesome. He was like, that's what you get.
Yeah. It's see, you should have left it alone. And I got to give kudos to Dave for calling this out. Because he said it was going to happen.
Before you say whatever you said, I want to know. I want to know who those two scout troopers were. Was it a good was it a cameo from actors that we know, or was it just two random dudes? That's the question.
That's why Dave and I can never get through an episode because he keeps interrupting me about things like this.
That was awesome. I wanted to give him water, and then he punched that bag pretty hard. He popped little baby Yoda in that bag. I thought
they both did.
It was great dialogue. It really was. I'm hoping it was a famous actor doing just an awesome cameo. Is it Elon? Is it Elon Musk? Because he was on set. Remember?
Okay, so the two troopers voiced by Jason Sudeikis and Adam Pally.
Those names aren't ringing any bells. Does it let you click and it take you to an IMDb page or anything?
No, let me look at it right now. The Jason one sounds familiar.
I don't know. Just that tongue in cheek back and forth.
Oh,
banter.
He's the guy from He played in
Oh my! Is that the guy that was in the movie with Jennifer Aniston?
yes.
We are the Millers.
Yes, We Are the Millers.
Okay, who's the other cat? And Horrible Bosses.
Yes,
Yeah.
Masterminds, Angry Birds, Mother's Day Race, Sleeping with Others, people. Yeah.
Okay, so who's the other cat? Who's the other cat? He's got to be
There's
somebody.
Adam Polly, right?
I don't know. That's what you said. I didn't read it.
Polly.
It's not Pauly Shore.
Oh no, this guy.
Does he have anything on his resume?
Let me see.
Watch him be super important that we just are blanking on the name.
Oh, he was in Iron Man 3 as Gary, The To-Do List, Life After Beth, Search Party, Night Owl, Slow Learners, Bad Night, Dirty Grandpa, Don't Think Twice, The Little Hours, Band-Aid, Shimmer Lake, Most Likely to Murder.
He's a well-known cat. We just don't know.
Sonic the Hedgehog. He was in Californication.
What are you playing Californication?
Young Hollywood douchebag.
Well, I think there's a bunch of those.
He was in 3 episodes. Yeah, we'll have to look him up. But yeah, I was like, oh, he's in Californication in 2007 and 2011. Let me see what else.
Send me a screenshot of his face. And then I'll be able to decipher what episode or what he played in Californication other than just the douchebag.
He's an American Dad. I was like, he's in The Mandalorian.
Adam Pally?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not ringing any bells. Either way, let's continue. I'm sorry. I took us down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, see? That's what happens when Dave takes us down rabbit holes, guys. So, the banter back and forth between the Scout Troopers was absolutely amazing. Dave called it, as he interrupted me, even though I was telling him he was right, again. IG-11 comes out of nowhere to revenge the death of the Ugnaught. And he takes out these 2 Scout Troopers, with no,
Dude, he manhandled them. He manhandled them.
It was pretty funny. And then he grabs the baby, gets on the speeder bike. I thought he was heading back to the ship.
I thought so too.
I was like, he's heading back to the ship. He's executing the protocol the Mandalorian told him to do, so it would lock it down. Nobody could penetrate it. Nobody could get in. And then, he gets on the radar and he says, Quill is dead, or he's been terminated. I have the child. It's my job to protect him or something. And then he starts heading towards the city, and I'm like, what are you doing? There's no way you're going to be able to take out all of these freaking troopers.
It's an IG droid, man. Those things are beasts.
And so the Mandalorian continually says, they're trained to kill. That's hunters. Their protocol. They're hunters. And he goes into town, and he's just blasting, and
he's on the speeder like a beast, just shooting guys down. But I love that they didn't make him overly fantastic, overly accurate to the point where he killed everybody. He zoomed through town and he killed some, but there was also some guys left. Yeah.
And the other thing that I like too is that there was one point where they were shooting back at him, and he realizes it, and he flips the baby to the back where he's protecting it. And I was like, damn, dude. And he tells you throughout the show that he's like, I'm the nurse droid or something for the baby, and I have to my protocol is to protect the baby. And I was just like, damn, that's pretty intense. But she just flying through town, and all the troopers that are in front of the cantina are like, what's going on?
And in true bad guy fashion, Moff Gideon, come on, really, you have to give them till nightfall?
I know. I thought that was a very long time.
But don't get me wrong, Esposito is knocking this role out of the park. The little bit that we've gotten from him, his dialogue, the way he speaks, it's enthralling. I'm glued. I'm hanging on every word that guy says when he's telling them, "Hey, come out, surrender. You've got nowhere to go." He's like, "Oh, you're panicking. I can tell."
Yeah, because Cara Dune starts shooting the vent to get at the sewers.
Which that's a nice callback to Empire. I'm not Empire, A New Hope. Because what do? They jump in the trash compactor. This is a sewer, but it's close enough.
And he said, "I can hear you panicking." Calls out all their names. It just was, and I thought the same thing when he was like, "I give you till nightfall." I'm like, dude, it's like a half a day.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Aren't you if you truly want this package, like, and I thought it was funny that Carl Weathers' character was like, I think we should hear him out. He's like drinking.
Oh,
It was something blue.
He thinks he's on his last leg. He thinks they're gonna die. Might as well go
Yeah.
on with a buzz. You know what I mean?
And and then they start hearing the droid. They start hearing IG-11 come into town. They bust out of the cantina. They're trying to help him.
Which not even that, but like all the troopers, they slowly start turning their attention towards the incoming sound of destruction and everything. So at that point, they're like, okay, these guys are not our main focus. Let's look over here. What's going down? And then you got IG-11 rolling into town like a beast.
So before any of that starts happening, there is this weapon, and I cannot remember the exact name of it. I know you're going to. It's like the weapon that Cara Dune was like. That weapon is like a killer. Like it takes down ships. I forget the name of it. I want to say it was like an E something.
I don't remember the exact name, but it's a mounted, very powerful repeating blaster. You know what I mean? That knocked down a bunch of Cara Dune's.
And she's like, we will not survive it. Like we will not get out of here alive if that thing gets brought in. And so when they were bringing it, I was like, oh man, they're not going to make it. And he's like, I'll give you till nightfall. At this point, she's explaining like how deadly it is. Like there's no chance of surviving. Not only that, but
even Grief Karga's like we're done.
Yeah,
we're done. When that gun got mounted and put in place, he's like, okay, this is a game over kind of thing.
And so anyway, then we get back to the IG-11. The Mandalorian busts outside, takes out some troopers.
Which the Death Troopers, they're pretty beast.
I know.
We got to see them in action, hand-to-hand combat, close quarters. They weren't pushovers.
No,
they fell, but they weren't pushovers.
And I was just like, oh wow, that's funny. And so, but you got to see the fact like the troopers, the regular troopers, were just pushovers. They fell, they got blasted, whatever. But the Death Troopers, I thought, were pretty beasts. The Mandalorian jumps out, grabs that gun, and just starts firing. Like, and at this point, they're just like, we're going to get out of this. IG-11 comes in hot, like super hot.
Love coming in hot.
And crashes the speeder, jumps off, protects the baby, swiveling him around, firing and blasting. And
hey, Moff Gideon's a beast the entire time, though.
Yeah.
That man is not ducking for cover. He's not kneeling down. He's not dodging bullets. The shit's crumbling around him, and he's just standing there cool, taking pot shots at the Mandalorian while he's got that heavy gun. I don't know. I loved it. Just something about the not cowering from all these blaster fire, not ducking behind other, his subordinates. It speaks volumes of this guy's character.
Yeah.
To me,
yeah, no, I thought it was great. Like he just was like chill, and then comes out with a single like blaster and just shoots.
Oh,
and his aim is impeccable.
And by the way, like because we're talking about aim, and you're going right where I'm going with it. But the scout troopers, they suck.
Yeah,
that's a nice little nod. You know what I mean? Like to stormtroopers not being able to shoot crap. Yeah. And these scout troopers, they embodied it. Both of them like just taking pot shots and can't hit that darn little debris or whatever it is.
That's like right in front of them. Yeah. So anyway, Moff Gideon takes it, like shoots the Mandalorian in the back of the head. He falls. They realize that they're starting to be overrun. Cara Dune runs out, gets the Mandalorian inside the canteen again. They shut the door.
Well, he doesn't shoot him in the head. Well, he shoots him in the back.
I thought he shot him in the back of the helmet.
Oh, but that's not what put the Mandalorian out for the count. What did it was when he shot that power supply pack.
Oh, the power supply pack. That's
right.
Yeah,
he shot the power supply pack, and that's what threw the Mandalorian back.
And knocked him out.
And then that's when Cara Dune runs out there in true, like, Republic Commando, we're brothers in arms kind of thing, and brings him back in. Because he's just sprawled out. He's gone kind of thing.
Yeah. And I was just like, damn, this was like, it was intense. They get back in the cantina. He's like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it.
And so friggin' noble. Like, she's like, let's take off your helmet. Like, I can help fix you. And he's like, no. Take care of the kid. This is the way.
Like, you have to take care of the kid. It's part of your thing now. Like, that's what your job is. And he's just like, they're like, but we can save your life if we take your helmet off. He's like, no, this is the way. And I don't remember if it was at this point did Carl Weathers' character be like, why can't the kid like do something? Was it this point?
No, it was later on.
Okay, so I was like, so he's sitting there and she's like, just you can. The IG unit was able to get through the vent, get out through it, did what he needed to do.
And then Grief Karga, Carl Weathers is like, oh, I love IG units because he's just cutting through with whatever
ease, like complete ease. At this point, Moff Gideon's like, look, this is the end of it. We're not giving you till nightfall anymore. We're coming in, burn them out. Everything
Dude, and
else.
then the cinematography when that flame trooper comes out, it just looks beautiful. Like this guy is the man. He's just walking up, just spitting fire, literally, into that little hole where they're hiding out, and it gets grim. You're like, oh man, is the IG unit going to be able to open up in time, or are they going to be able to escape? You know, you got the Mandalorian potentially about to die, not wanting to remove his helmet. It got intense.
It got very intense. I was like, okay, there's no way the Mandalorian can back. There's no way. But still, it was very like intense. And then he said, you got to take the baby and you got to go. And the IG-11, the IG unit stays with the Mandalorian as Cara Dune, the baby, and Carl Weathers' character, Greek Karga. I can't say his name. Karga takes off through the shaft, and then the IG-11 unit's like, I can help you, and he's like, no, but you have to remove your helmet. He said, no. He said, no living thing can see my face, and he was like, I'm not a living thing. And he removes the helmet, and I'm like, no, oh my god.
And so didn't
you say that we would see the helmet removed in the first season? Did you? I can't remember.
I think we did. I think I did. We got to go back and listen, but I want to say yes.
So anyway,
I didn't think it was going to be like this, and
I didn't think so either.
An injury battle. I thought it was going to be like a privilege for him to take his helmet off to someone. You know what I mean?
And then IG-11 sprays him with some Bacta solution to help with the healing process, and he says something. He's like, your processor is damaged, I think, and.
Well, see, but before that, before IG even goes to those links, and before Grief Karga gets out of there, and Cara Dune, the Flame Trooper's coming through the door now.
Oh, yes.
He's coming through the door, again, coming in hot, spitting fire. At this point, it seems like Gina Carano's character, Moff Gideon, doesn't even care about the kid anymore. He's just like, you guys are going to pay. It's not said, but that Flame Trooper goes in there. Lighten it up, and you see the child, you see the kid right in the line of fire, literally, and just uses some force powers. Holds the fire at bay, which we've seen that one other time with Kanan Jarrus.
Kanan Jarrus.
Yes, right before he was about to die, and he held the flames back and the blast, if you will, when Ezra and them were trying to get away. Little baby Yoda. The child just stepping up.
3 hands, 3 fingers.
Just stepping up, being a beast, saving the day, and incinerates the Flame Trooper. And then you just have everything burning around them. That's when they make their escape.
And then they get the Mandalorian up and going, get him into the sewers. IG-11 does, meets up with the rest of the group, and he said, we gotta find. I thought they were called a clan. It wasn't the Mandalorian clan. He calls it something else. And I can't remember the name of it, but he calls them something else. It's not the clan. There's another name for them. Like,
well, it's not a clan. He's calling that hidden area.
Okay.
That's what it is. They're not like a group and they're all called like whatever. He's talking about that underground section.
And so he was like, he kind of gets lost because he's never been through that way before. But then turns out he finds it. And,
not only does he find it, but he finds the death and armor scraps of all the Mandalorians that fell. Whether they be younglings or not.
And he's super pissed because he starts picking up the helmet, he starts looking at him. And I think he even turns to Carl Weathers' character and said, did you do this? Did the guild do this after what they did? After episode 3, and they defended me and I got away, did the guild do this? He said, no. after you left, Imperial started arriving. It was not the guild that did this. And he's just like, sad. He's like, well, y'all go on ahead. I can't leave him like this. This isn't the way. Like, I can't leave him like this. And at first, the helmet that he picked up, I thought it was the
heavy Mandalorian
armor. Yeah, no, I thought it was the armor because it looked kind of like a feminine, like kind of helmet. But then out of nowhere, the armor comes out and starts talking to them. And I can't remember everything she said, but she's picking up the Mandalorian armor off the ground and saying they knew the sacrifices. They knew the decision they were going to make to stand against them and what could happen. And that's the path they chose. And she starts picking it up and she's taking it into the fire and forging new metal or new armor out of it. She keeps saying, this is the way. This is the way. And, you know, there's some conversation back and forth, and she's creating something. She's molding something out of the metal that she's doing, and he really didn't know what it was. But what she says is to the Mandalorian is, you took responsibility for this child. It is now your responsibility to either make him a foundling and teach him the way of the Mandalorian, or you give him back to his people. It's your job. That's the decision and the choice that you've made by what you've done.
She's saying straight up, you're essentially the father.
Yeah. This was a choice you made. You have to live with that decision. This is the way. And when you find out, she says, I have something before you leave. She created a clan symbol for him and the baby Yoda, because now there are two, and he is the leader of this clan.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, oh, I'm
she
honored.
Created
I will wear it proudly.
The signet, the actual name.
Yes. And I was like, wow, that's super cool. What was the other thing that she gave him
in this episode? She only gave him the signet.
Okay.
She told him, like, hey, go ahead and get, like, restock your munitions.
Oh, and then she told him, like, follow the path down this way and you'll get out. I think that was the other thing she told him too. But he was like, come with us. And she said, no, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah, her place is here. So what they called that place the Covert.
There you go. I kept thinking they were talking about, like, the clan.
No.
The clan was called them. So anyway, they head out,
but
and
before
she stays there.
And we didn't even touch on, but we see in great detail of what happened to him when he was a child.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
You know, we see what happened to him when he's a child. The fact that, you know, Cara Dune, while they're in that shack, the cantina, the place where they were meeting, she goes through and says, hey, Mandalorians, they're not a race. They're a people. They're someone that just comes together, and it's a creed, what they follow. And they go down the road and show you via flashback what happened to him. How he was a foundling. How he got his stigma with the droids. We see them not directly kill his family, but essentially super battle droids killed his family, raided their town, their village, and it was saved by Mandalorians. Saved by Mandalorians, and one Mando opens a little hatch that he's hiding in and extends his hand to the kid. And then they go off. I didn't get a chance to research and check the signet that those Mandalorians were wearing. Did you?
No. I remember the other thing that she gave him. She gave him the jetpack.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So she gave him the jetpack, and she said, this is now yours, but you're going to have to practice with it. You're going to have to do drills with it to understand it and realize what you need to do. And she hands it to him, and he gives it to the IG unit and says, here, I need you to hold on to this for me. And he holds on to it. At this point, they leave. And they head to the lava river or whatever it's called. And they head out. But before that, they obviously hear impeding troopers coming. And the IG unit goes out, takes care of them, and she says, you got to get out now, you got to go. And they head to the lava field, and she says, I'm not going to go. I will stay here. This is the way. And as they're running to the lava field, you see that she's like kneeling down, and there's more troopers coming in,
Well,
and she.
before you go there, like, did you catch what they call the jetpack? It's not. They don't call them jetpacks.
No, I didn't catch it. I was just so excited he got a jetpack because you and I talked about that at the beginning.
So they call him the Rising Phoenix.
Nice.
You didn't hear her mention that in the episode?
No, never heard her mention Rising Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what she says. She never says jetpack. She's all, okay, you've trained with the Rising Phoenix? He's like, yes, when I was a child, blah, blah, blah. And then she hands her the IG droid.
I didn't pick it up like that. I picked it up as like there was a group called the Rising Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
I didn't pick it up as like that was the name of the jetpack. So, and when these troopers come in, she beasted them, like no effort on her part whatsoever. Super easy, nothing like crazy. But then she defeats that group, but she doesn't know what happens after that.
Well, we never see her again, yeah.
You never see her again in the episode, so you don't know what happens. They make it to the lava field or the lava river.
Which
there's a droid.
No, go ahead.
I said there's a droid there that's like commands the boat and moves it.
It's an R2 unit.
R2 unit, which is a really tall R2 unit when it does stand up.
Which we've never seen an R2 unit to have arms and appendages like this.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, have we ever seen that before? Because I've never seen one do that.
So, what's her name? L3 was essentially an R2 unit or an R unit that began to modify herself. So she's not an R2 unit, but she's in the class of being a droid that not grew appendages, but soldered appendages on herself and, continued to upgrade herself. Because she was not originally like that. She was a smaller droid.
Yeah, she kind of looks like those push button ones. Like you had to hit the nose from the Phantom Menace.
I knew I could go there. I knew it.
So they get to the lava river. The boat, like the R2 unit, is like not responding. They got to somehow get the boat away from the thing, from the wall, the wall essentially, or the bank. To think about, it, I was like, "What's going on?"
No, you're good. Like, we can't believe I forgot about it. I can't believe I forgot about it. It just hit me now when you said this. Did you hear the planet that Cara Dune was from?
No. I bet if you say it, oh no, Alderaan. She's from Alderaan.
She was from Alderaan.
Cara Dune of Alderaan. And then I think at that point when she said it, I was like, holy crap!
Yeah, exactly. So just interweaving. Then you kind of get the idea why she is where she is, why she decided to be a Republic trooper. Maybe she wasn't on board until they blew up her planet, and then that's when she joined the fight.
True, very true.
Like in my mind, I filled that gap. It's probably not the case, but in my mind, that's how she signed up to be a Republic troop, commando, shock trooper, whatever they call it.
Because they destroyed Alderaan.
Yeah, and she wanted to avenge them, and that's why she's got a hard on for Imperials. That's why when he's like, "Hey,
all the wrong places,"
that's horrible. That's why when the Mandalorian said, "Hey, no, they're not warlords; they're Imperials," that's why she said she was in so quickly.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm in,"
and didn't need any convincing whatsoever because she remembers what they did to her homeworld.
Yep. I forgot about that. You just said that, and I was like, "No, I don't." And then I was like, "Oh wait, it was Cara Dune of Alderaan." Yeah, very true. So they're going down this lava river. The R2 unit then stands up and
but
starts.
You're also missing another part. What did the matriarch Mandalorian tell the Mando about when they started talking about the powers that the kid had? This is big and juicy. You can't miss it.
Something about the fact that it was the Jedi.
This is the first time you get mentioned Jedi in this entire series. They haven't mentioned the Force. They don't call it that. They just said he's got mind powers. He can move stuff with his mind. But she's saying straight up, they're sorcerers, if you will. That's how they perceive them. Which I just think that's funny. That's humorous that they don't see them as, well, they see them as mystical. But again, the term sorcerer means almost like a combatant in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but she does mention something about the Jedi, but then they also understand, like, we don't really understand.
And the Mandalorian's like, okay, so you want me to take them back to these sorcerers? And she says, yes. Yes, like he's one of them, one of their race, but he's not an enemy. He's not a rival. You know what I mean? Train him in the ways or take him back to these sorcerers.
And it almost, if I remember correctly, she almost to the point, like, also refers to them, like, when they were on Mandalore, how the Jedi were, like, that's where she brings the fact the Jedi were good. They helped us. I did forget the Jedi part. I also forgot the Alderaan thing. It's crazy. And then they're in the Lava River. The droid stands up, said, where do you want to go? They tell him. Then the Mandalorian sees that there's troopers waiting for them on the outside of the opening of the cliff, or the opening of the river.
So did you get misty-eyed at this part?
So at first I'm like, okay, something's got to happen, but I don't know what's going to happen. I didn't get misty-eyed. I'm sure you did.
I actually did.
You cried. But I was like, I really don't know what's going to happen. And I thought it was funny that Kara was like going crazy, and she's like, I told you to stop, droid. I told you to stop, but she didn't stop. So the droid didn't stop, so she shot her. And she's holding the baby and everything else in the IG, and it's like, you're not going to be able to defeat them. Like, I'm going to have to go self-destruct. And then at this point, like, Carl Weathers' character was like, wait, can't the baby do, like, the hand thing? And, like, he looks at the baby and does his hand, and like, Baby Yoda, like, picks up his hands, like, hi. Like, I thought that was the cutest thing in the world, where he's like, hi, I don't know why you're putting your hand at me. Like, I know what the hell you're talking about. But, like, I thought it was a complete turn of events that the Mandalorian was like, no, you're not going to self-destruct. We can find another way to do this. Like, his complete demeanor changed with IG-11, who he did not want to be around before. He did not want the baby to be around before. He didn't want anything to do with the droid. But once he saw what the droid was capable of and how the droid protected the child and protected them and saved his life, he had changed his mind. And he even credits him. He's like, when a manufacturer's programming, he said, I cannot be captured. And we will be captured. Like, at this point, he said, yes, but you were also programmed to protect the child. And that overrides your manufacturer's protocol. And I was like, oh, that's true. And I love how IG-11 says it. He said, yes, protecting the child does override my manufacturer's protocol. However, if we are captured, I can no longer protect the child, which then leaves me useless and is not my protocol anymore. My next protocol is to self-destruct because I cannot be captured. I'm like, oh my God, no. And the fact of, like, how he just gets out of the boat. And the Mandalorian's like, no, like, there's another way. He's like, no, there's not another way. I'm programmed to analyze things, and I'm telling you there's not another way. And he just gets out of the boat, walks in the lava. I'm like, how's that not affecting you?
Well, it is affecting him. He's not walking as straight as he was in the very beginning when he jumped in. By the time he gets to the opening, the mouth of the lava flow where the stormtroopers are at, he's on his last leg. He's about to fall in the pit. It was very Terminator.
You would come up with that reference.
It's very Terminator. Because in T2, when Arnold ends up having to fall in the lava, or terminate himself, essentially, he's falling in the lava, he's burning, and he's just still got that look on his face, like looking at Sarah and John Connor. So it felt very Terminator to me, which I dug, because I love Terminator.
Get to the chopper. And these stormtroopers these troopers are ready to shoot him, fire on him. Then he walks up and he said, I cannot be captured. I must self-destruct. And he opens his little chest thing. And they all look at him like, holy crap! And he self-destructs. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you were killed in the first episode. You died in the last episode. What's going on with you?
He ain't coming back no more.
He ain't coming back no more. The Ugnaughts not coming back no more. it's just the scout troopers of Davis, the banter back and forth aren't coming back no more. Well, I don't know if he didn't actually shoot them. They may actually come back.
Oh, they got jacked up, bro.
They got jacked up. So anyway,
which I was right. The gunslinger didn't come back either.
You don't know that yet. We're still got season 2.
You said by the end of season 1. Yeah.
So they get outside the opening. They're back in the lava field. They're going to get back to the ship. And not out of nowhere, but all of a sudden they hear a TIE fighter.
That TIE screaming in the air. I love it. I love the sound of TIE fighters to begin with, but the fact that... No, go ahead.
I was just saying, and like in your mind, you're like, oh my God, you've literally like been able to get past everything and now this. And it's like, I'm like, I don't feel they're going to die, but something's going to happen. Something else is going to happen. And you just hear that scream from the TIE fighter. Just amazing.
What did you think of the Mandalorian using the Rising Phoenix, the jetpack?
So at that point, the TIE fighter flies over.
It ends up having to do a second pass.
Moff Gideon was like, they're like, he missed us, and the Mandalorian's like, he won't miss again. And he's like, hold the child. They fire at him. They're trying to hit him. He's like, Cara Dune's like, our guns are useless. He puts on the Rising Phoenix. After the armorer told him, you're going to have to work with this. It's going to take time. It's not something you can just get on and do. Dude got on the Rising Phoenix, took off, got on the TIE fighter.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't proficient.
It wasn't. Got on the TIE fighter, was trying to take it down, trying to shoot into the cab, didn't work. Moff Gideon's trying to throw him off and everything else. He tries to throw a bomb on the wing and he loses it. The Mandalorian does. And then he gets 2 on there. And he jumps off. And the Rising Phoenix takes off and brings him to the ground. And the TIE fighter blows up. Well, the wing of the TIE fighter, one arm of the TIE fighter blows up. You see it like, it's kind of like the whole Kylo Ren scene in The Rise of Skywalker. You see the thing just rolling. Yeah, just like rolls. And at this point, I'm like, all right, this dude's not dead. We have not seen the last of Moff Gideon.
Oh, no, of course not. There has to be a big bad going into season 2 that we know, you know what I mean? At least set the stage. And you're not gonna cast a guy like Esposito for 2 episodes and that's it. No, you're gonna want to grow. You're gonna want to learn and love to hate the guy. And that's what they're gonna do. But before we get to the very end and the big mind-melting part, the fact that, he tells Cara Dune bye, the fact that Grief Karga is like, dude, stay here. Like, you can have the pick of the litter of any bounty you want. Like, she's staying with me. I'm going to take care of her. She's going to be, like, my number one. You know what I mean? We're going to go ahead and take the bounty off of her for being a Republic trooper. Her slate's wiped clean. So she's no longer in hiding, having to worry about the hunters coming after her. And he's trying to offer the Mandalorian the same thing. And then Mando's respectfully turning it down, saying, like, I've got bigger things I need to attend to.
Yep.
I've got to take care of the kid. I've got to find the kid home. Which maybe one day, season 2, maybe season 3, we find a whole nest of Yodas, their species. I don't know. Maybe we're going to cross paths with the Jedi. Maybe we'll see Ahsoka. Because she knows Master Yoda. So she'll know of him being, not a Force user, but she'll know of the resemblance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the species.
I thought it was very poignant, the fact that he picks up the kid and he flies off on the Phoenix in the same way that Mandalorian picked him up as a child and rode him out of the battlefield.
I didn't think of it like that until you just said something.
You didn't think of it like that? As soon as it happened, I was like, dude, this is a callback to what he felt as a child. That he's doing the same thing for the child that it was done to him.
I also thought it was pretty cool that in one of the scenes where he was in the cantina and he told Cara Dune and Carl Weathers' character and the baby to go, like, hey, go find the clan and give them this symbol to let them know that you're safe. And it's the Mandalorian symbol. And the kid is then, when they take off in the ship, he's playing with it and you don't know what it is. At this point, it's now in a necklace around his neck. And I was like, that's pretty cool. He's like, what do you got there? And he looks at it. He's like, you can go ahead and keep that. But I'm like, who put it? Like, cause he just gave it to her as like a piece of metal. He didn't have a string or anything. So I'm wondering if she did that or like did the kid do it himself or whatever. But I thought it was pretty cool that the kid's wearing the Mandalorian crest around his neck as they flew away. And he's like, you just go ahead and hold on to that. It's pretty epic. Pretty epic. And then the end of the scene, that was it. Nothing else happened.
Yeah, no, nothing to melt your mind or anything like that.
And we,
but so don't forget that's not the Mandalorian symbol. That's the mythosaur. That's the skull of the mythosaur that they had taken down. Remember, that was like a great crazy beast, and that's how they first got kind of put into power.
It's on your shirt.
Exactly. Right there, mythosaur.
Because David's a mytha.
What? No. Things are huge, man. Crazy.
So anyway, the Razor Crest flies off. You think it's going to be the end of the episode, and then they cut to Jawas picking out the pieces of the wreckage, the wreckage of the down TIE fighter, and they're just sitting there like.
I was waiting for a teeny. I was waiting for one of those, but
oh god. And so, like, picking up things, and all of a sudden, you see a orange glow come from the side of the TIE fighter's cockpit.
So when you saw that, what did you think? What was your first initial reaction?
Initially, I thought it was like a blaster. It was something else that, like, was able to melt the metal. I didn't think what it was. Like, I had nowhere in my mind that I'm like, is this a lightsaber? Or is this like a sword or something? Like, I never, ever thought that. Ever.
So in my mind, and I don't know, like I told you before we started shooting, I don't know if I heard it or I subconsciously placed it once I saw the metal melting. Because as soon as I saw the metal, like glowing hot and like yellowish orange, I automatically was taken back to Qui-Gon Jinn in episode 1 where he was cutting through the door, the bulkhead. Like that's where my mind went immediately. And
it makes sense.
And mentally, I heard the sound of a lightsaber ignite. I don't know if I physically did or it's just the Mandela effect kind of thing going on. But I swear in my mind, I heard it. And then it cuts through and pokes all the way out. Or enough of it for you to see a glowing black, white-edged, illuminating blade. When you saw that, what did you think? What did you do?
I was like, this is not the Darksaber. This is not. Like, there's no way. But then I, like, immediately started processing as it cut away of, okay, where have I seen a blade like this before? Like, running through all my Star Wars knowledge, and I was like, the only other time we have ever seen a blade that looks like this is in Star Wars Rebels that I remember.
Clone Wars.
Oh, Clone Wars. But the last time I saw it.
Okay.
Rebels, the Darksaber that Sabine had, that she passed it off to Bo-Katan.
And
to rule Mandalore.
And Moff Gideon cuts through.
Like a whole circle.
And fully displays the Darksaber. And stands on that wreckage like a beast. With the Darksaber, which we assume to be the Darksaber, because as of right now, like you said, we don't know of any other blades that are like this. Ignited on top of the wreckage, like one wing of the TIE is still there. He's on the chassis, the centerpiece of it, and just kind of looking off in the distance. Looking very regal, very beast, just holding the Darksaber, man. It was a friggin' awesome ending of the show, of the episode. I think that left me more speechless than the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Melted your mind. You did say the Rise of Skywalker the last scene did not melt your mind. I think it was more of, holy crap, now how did he get this? Where did it come from? What's the back history? And that's why I said it left you with a cliffhanger, but it left me with a cliffhanger of like, I have some questions, but I can wait till season 2. And we don't even know when season 2 is. I don't think it'll be longer than a year. Maybe right at a year, but I'm like, I'm okay. I really am. I thought it, like, if you would have left me, like I said, with the baby on the ground and taken by the scout trooper, and that's where we would have left the end of season 1, I would have been pissed. Pissed. I was pissed about that episode anyway.
Okay, so real quick, do you think this is the Darksaber, or do you think it's another saber like it?
No, Darksaber 100%.
Are you saying that because Filoni's a part of the show?
No, I'm saying this 100% because it's part of the Star Wars timeline.
Yeah,
We've
but
seen it before.
There could be other sabers like it.
No, I think this is the Darksaber, and somehow he obtained it. He talked about the siege of Mandalorian and fighting.
Okay, so that's what I was going to get at. Yeah,
he talked about the fact that he was at Mandalorian, how he destroyed it. But Moff Gideon did, so it makes sense. But I want some more back history of. It's been a while. The last time we saw it was in Rebels, and that was between episode 3 and 4. So.
I think it was 4 and 6, wasn't it?
Star Wars Rebels, I thought, took place between 3 and 4. Episode 3 and 4.
I'm gonna have to double check that, because we know she hands it to Bo-Katan so she can go rule Mandalore. I'm trying to see if I have that picture with that timeline that shows all the. Here we go. It shows actually taking place before episode 4, A New Hope. That's right, because Luke's still a kid. He hasn't joined up with the rebellion yet. Yeah, it's between episode 3 and 4. You're right.
Thank you.
I don't know why I thought it was later in the timeline. I think what threw me off is the fact that you see the end of the war, because they talk about Return of the Jedi, how the Battle of Endor and all that. You know what I mean?
It occurs. It occurs closer to episode 4.
Yeah.
Because it's like in the almost the general like the ending of Rebels is like right at Rogue One.
Yeah.
So.
But no, again, because I got thrown off because I remembered them closing and talking about the Battle of Endor. And then that's when Ahsoka and Sabine go off to go try and find Ezra. But it does make sense because Thrawn and all that other good stuff, we don't see him. But I think it is the Darksaber, 100%, man. Moff Gideon, he killed up some Mandos, he sliced and diced them. Does that mean Bo-Katan's dead?
It doesn't necessarily mean Bo-Katan's dead. It could just mean that he obtained the saber somehow.
But the ruler of Mandalore wields the Darksaber.
Okay, but we still don't know if. When you say that,
because what we've seen, Pre Vizsla had it, and then Maul killed him, took the Darksaber, and ruled over Mandalore because of the Darksaber. That's why all the other Mandalorians of Death Watch followed him.
But it could also be that Bo-Katan maybe stepped down or gave it to somebody else to rule Mandalore, and she didn't rule anymore.
I don't see Bo-Katan doing that.
It's possible, though.
But within that short a time frame?
Hmm? What do you mean that short of time frame?
Between A New Hope and 7 years past Return of the Jedi? How many years is that?
15? It's a distance.
15? Maybe Twinkie?
Twinkie? Where are you going, Twinkie?
On Twinkie. That's not a big chunk of time. Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of crap can go down in 20 years, but I don't know, man. I think Bo-Katan's gone. Just like Ahsoka's gone, because we heard her voice in the Rise of Skywalker voice over all the Jedi talking to her, Wraith kind of thing. How many years? I know you're close. I can see it in your eyes. I'm going like 15, 20. Uh-oh. Come on. Are you mentally adding up?
So episode 4. 3.
I'm telling you, it's got to be at least 15.
It was probably between there. Probably 6 years, so 6 years and 7 years.
Okay, so we're at 13 years roughly.
So I was.
What?
Oh, okay. I was like, I hit the wrong
7
number.
and 6 was 13.
I was like, it's 19. I
No.
would say roughly about 15 years, but still.
There you go, David.
15 years. I don't know. We'll have to see. And I'm assuming this may be addressed in Clone Wars Saved, because they talk about the Siege of Mandalore.
But that's not where the Darksaber is. Maul has a Darksaber at that time, theoretically.
Oh, that's true. I'm thinking
so Sabine. Yeah, it's not in the right timeline. So when we get Clone Wars Saved, it's before the events of Rebels, before Sabine gets a Darksaber, before it gets passed down to Bo-Katan. But does this mean maybe we will get Starbuck herself, aka Bo-Katan, coming to season 2 of The Mandalorian, whether it be in flashbacks or something? Will we get Katie Sackhoff?
I think you may get flashbacks where they're going to tell the story of how he got it, because he's going to tell somebody of how he obtained it now that we've seen it.
And I think it would be fantastic for her to reprise the role that she voiced in Clone Wars, because she looks like the character.
Yeah, she actually does. They did a good job with that.
Yeah, she looks like they modeled it after her very, very well. It's got the high cheekbones and everything. So I would love to see Katie Sackhoff come to Mandalorian season 2, even if it's for one episode as a flashback. I think that'd be fantastic. Fantastic.
I agree.
That's just me. That's what I'm saying.
But we'll have to wait till an unknown amount of time for season 2. Yeah, it's overall.
We know they're working on season 2.
We know they're working on it. But overall, great episode. It was a great season.
Can't believe it's
so much more. I know so much more stuff that can happen or that we have questions on, but we will eventually get them in season 2. Jon Favreau did an amazing job writing,
all the directors,
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the directors of this. They have, a lot of people have said, and we've said it, this show could bring the fandom back together. It's not only uniting just the Star Wars fans. There's people who are like, Baby Yoda will save the world. And they're not even Star Wars fans. They've never seen The Mandalorian. They have no idea what it means, but they're just like, we just know that Baby Yoda has become a craze. And he's everywhere. And it's everything. And he's going to reunite the world. And I'm like, oh my God, people think this, but they have no idea what it actually means. So I don't know, but I'm excited for season 2.
Fantastic.
I just hope
first
that we
outing for a live action series. Fantastic.
I agree.
Fantastic.
I hope we get an announcement soon. I'm assuming we'll probably get one January, February, just because they got to get to the Rise of Skywalker and everything else. But I'm excited.
Fantastic first outing. Fav, all the directors, everybody behind the show, just awesome. Just freaking awesome. It's left everybody wanting more.
Yep. And so many questions about the timeline too.
And I'm really glad they decided not to drop it all in one season. I mean, all in one go. And make it binge-worthy. By stretching it out like this, it was the way to do it. It really was.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Fav has spoken.
Yeah, he has. That's all I got, John.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. I know we kind of remembered things out of order, went back and forth. Dave remembered some things. I remembered some things. But it's a show that we do, and we recorded, and it's not really we're not going to sit here and try to re-record every time we forget something or get something out of order. It happens. We're human. If you have any thoughts, opinions on season 1, or even all of season 1, or even just episode 8, hit us up on our social media at SWPodBalance, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We thank you for tuning in today. We are Balance of the Force, a Star Wars podcast. And as always, may the Force be with you.
The Sith will rule the galaxy. We shall